Hello everyone, welcome. We are going to be talking about the home buying process. My name is Khari McVey and I'm with Chinowth Cohen. I've been with Chinowth Cohen for 7 years now and absolutely love working with them. But to talk to you guys about the home buying process, we have had kind of a crazy last couple of years with the buying process and the selling process. But wanted to give you guys some tips and highlights of what that looks like if you haven't bought a house in forever or if you're new to buying a house and new to selling a house. So if you have any questions while we're in this chat, feel free to send them down there and we'll try and get those answered just as soon as we can. But your buying process is really first and foremost finding your agent and picking that agent that best fits your needs. Ask questions, make sure they're knowledgeable about the area, enthusiastic to work with you and eager to help you, because there's a lot of hand-holding through the process of that, which we absolutely love. But we want to make sure that you feel comfortable and confident in your purchase and your buying process. So first and foremost is finding your agent, and then of course is getting pre-approved and going into the mortgage process, because we can't buy a house without being approved, right? So we're going to find out how much you get approved for. We're also going to find out where do you feel comfortable at with your payments. So you could get approved for a certain amount, but we want to make sure that you feel absolutely comfortable with that mortgage amount and your payments. So really it could be scaling back some if you're approved for a higher amount, but we actually want to have your payments at a specific set amount. Then we want to make sure we're looking in that price range so that you feel comfortable with that purchase and you don't feel like you're extended after you're in your home. So we're going to be going through that mortgage and pre-approval, which we have tons of fantastic lenders that we work with. We'll be happy to give you some referrals for those. Those approvals, pre-qual letters actually last for 3 months. They're good for 3 months. Typical process from start to finish when we purchase and are under contract is about 45 days. Sometimes it can be a little bit longer, depending on the circumstances. But of course, then after we get a pre-approved, then we're going to start your home search and start looking for those homes that are specific for your needs and desires. We will probably ask you a list of what your needs are first and foremost, and then what your wants are. So if in a perfect world you could have the wants, we want to make sure we know what those are too. And in that process, we can start to narrow down the home search. If we're looking for specific school districts, specific bedrooms and bathroom and your needs for your family and yourself, and then we start scheduling those homes and start touring homes. I always say most of the clients typically know within the first 5 seconds that they walk in that house, they absolutely fall in love with it. You'll be able to envision yourself in it, your family in it, and your furniture in it. And that really helps out whenever you're walking through. So as you're walking through the house and looking at it and you're envisioning yourself in there, that's typically a good sign that you've found one that is a good fit for you. Then after that, once we've found that home for you, the perfect one that fits you, we're going to go into submitting an offer. And once we submit that offer, we will, it'll be a negotiation period sometimes back and forth between us and the seller and seller's agent. And we'll go through discussing, where we can come to terms on our offer. After that is your 3 pieces of money that I want you to know about that you really have to have up front, which is your earnest money for one. That check has to be turned in immediately after that contract is fully executed and signed by all parties. That immediately comes out of your account and goes into a private account specifically, and will be added to your home purchase at the end as part of as a credit towards your closing costs. Then after that, we schedule our inspections. And once we have our inspections scheduled, that's another piece of the money that you need to know about that comes up up front before closing, because you have to pay for all of your inspections at the time of the inspections. We will go through and we're looking for, if it's new construction, we're looking for everything. It becomes a checklist essentially for that builder once that inspection is completed. If it's an established home that's been lived in, then we're looking for the things that impede the function of the home. So that may, be HVAC, make sure it's working properly, roof, all of those big ticket items. We want to make sure that everything is in good working order. Once inspections are completed and we have gone over all of those, we'll discuss what we want to put on the T.R.R, which is a treatment, repair, and replace. That comes from what we're submitting to the seller that may be required by the lender, or that we're asking for to be fixed and repaired on the home. Then your lender during this process is also sending everything over for order for like an appraisal to be completed. You're going to be finishing up all of your paperwork with your lender. And the other piece of money that you need to know about is possibly some lenders require that the appraisal cost gets paid up front before, and it's not tacked onto the closing. So not all of them do, but that's one that you need to be aware of, and we'll ask the lender verify whether or not that's going to be required from you up front before closing. Then it comes into, once we've negotiated our T.R.Rs, we're going over to the repair stage. So the seller is now completing those repairs that we agreed upon. We'll get those repairs, like receipts and things, as they come in and showing that they have been completed. We'll have either a re-inspection, and we'll make arrangements during this time frame. There's a lot of silence that goes on behind the scenes from we're working on title and lender and various things. So while that's happening, you're getting ready for the move. So you're preparing your space and packing, you're getting everything organized for that move, you're changing addresses with the post office, you are looking at getting your utilities set up and scheduled to be turned on for the closing date. So those are the things that you're going to be working on during that period while we're working on the back end. Then we come in, we'll have appraisal done. We do final walkthrough of the home, usually 24 hours prior to the closing. And we'll make sure that you're accepting that house in its condition, make sure everything is good, you've walked through, you're pleased with your purchase, and then it's closing day. We're excited to hand you the keys, sign over everything to you, and you now have a wonderful home to be able to move into. So that is a little bit about the home buying process. Of course, we'll go into more detail in regards to that, but it is very much like a roadmap in finding our way through that purchase process.